Hello everybody, MorbTron here. Today we are reviewing the new exotic pulse rifle, Bad Juju. And no, the title of this video is not a mistake. I'm still sticking by it as the best auto rifle in Destiny 2. Because it does fire full auto, and it's a rifle of some kind, therefore it is an auto rifle. Change my mind. But anyway, before we get into the actual review, I just want to make note that I play mouse and keyboard on PC. This thing does feel very good using a controller. I did plug in a controller for a little bit, used it. Reminded me so much of the Bad Juju in Destiny 1 when I was using on the Xbox One. Super crispy. A very sticky weapon, feels very good with a controller. With a mouse, but we'll get there in a minute. So, String of Curses. Kills refill the magazine just like it did in D1. Increased damage for a short duration. Fantastic. Stacks up to 5. In PvE, a 5-stack of String of Curses, 100% damage. In Destiny 1, String of Curses didn't have a stacking thing. You got a kill, it was just, hey, String of Curses does more damage, blah-de-blah, super energy, that sort of thing. And it grants super energy based on the strength of String of Curses. So that's where I think that this weapon is a little bit more balanced than it was in Destiny 1 versus, Destiny 2. So Destiny 2, you have to get String of Curses up to 5 to get the big, huge chunks of super energy, where in Destiny 1, every kill in the Crucible, you got big, huge chunks of super energy, so there we go. Now, this stuff right here, other things that come on exotics that aren't exotic perks, they don't really mean anything, because the stats are the stats. These are things, increases range, yay. It's not a random roll, you can't change that, it doesn't matter, these are the stats. Its range is very lackluster compared to other pulse rifles. And that's why I call it an auto rifle, because even the one auto rifle in this game that I do use from time to time, the Half-Dan D, has like double the range, almost, of the Bad Juju. And if we compare it to another pulse rifle of its same archetype, this Chattering Bone that I just happen to have in my vault, has more range than the Bad Juju. But the Bad Juju does have a lot of stability, has worse handling than this Chattering Bone, and less reload speed. Only has 27 in the mag, but the magazine, as long as you're killing stuff, is basically endless, and the magazine doesn't refill from reserves. It generates ammo. It says kills refill the magazine. Sure, it regenerates ammo. You have infinite ammo as long as you're getting kills. This thing is an absolute beast, but before I get into the PvE part, let's just switch our super. So there we go, we have no super. We'll see how fast we get our super from just killing stuff. And this thing is not going to be a boss damaging exotic. You're not going to be like, alright guys, we need to put on our Bad Jujus because we need to, one-shot Riven. We need to cheese Riven. That's not going to happen. This is not a damaging exotic. This is an exotic to give you your super back very fast. And you see here, I'm already over halfway. And granted, I do have some super mods on my gear, because this is Destiny 2, and if you want to play in the Crucible in Destiny 2, you use super mods. But yeah, so we almost have our super, and we have, I would say maybe, we probably have a little over half of the ads killed. I would say, actually, probably about 2/3 of the ads are dead. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It gives you your super back very quickly. It's very good at chewing through ads, and that's kind of what it's for. It reloads itself, it buffs its own damage, and it gives you your super back, so then you can keep clearing ads. This is like an ad clearing, soloing person's dream. The Bad Juju is fantastic for people that want to solo stuff, that just want to kind of derp around, but isn't going to be something that you're like, hey, we need to be super sweaty and competitive in Crucible. We need to solo. We need to take Riven down really quickly. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But it's a good exotic nonetheless. But we're going to hop into some Crucible footage now, and I'll give you my opinion about the weapon on PC using mouse and keyboard in the Crucible right now. Now, the Bad Juju in Crucible on PC using mouse and keyboard is an interesting beast. What I will say before moving on with my opinion here on it for Crucible, that using a controller This weapon does feel very, very good. Feels just as good as it did back in Destiny 1. But in the PC meta, you really, really need weapons with a lot of range. Stability is really less of a factor when it comes to deciding which weapons are ones you want to go for or which ones have good rolls. Because on PC, mouse and keyboard, recoil is much easier to control. There's less bloom, there's less recoil, and you can be more precise with a mouse than you can with joystick. Some people are going to be much, much better using controller than they are mouse and keyboard, and they'll prefer controller. That is fine. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I'm saying that there are differences, and that needs to be addressed. But using a mouse, range is what you want. That's why the Austringer is far and above right now my favorite weapon to use in the Crucible, because it has so much range, and it being a hand cannon, you can peek shot and really, really try to outplay other people using pulse rifles or auto rifles or any really full auto weapon in the Crucible. Full auto weapons or just pulse rifles in general, unless you have something like a blast furnace with like maximum range, is going to be hard to compete with things like max range hand cannons, just because you have to invest more time out in the open throwing bullets at your target rather than a hand cannon where you can peek out for a half a second and take your shot and get back into cover in the most sweaty of times, we'll call it. Not only that, but for me personally, I enjoy using hand cannons more than anything else in the game as far as primary weapons go. And that's just more, I have more time invested into hand cannons. I do have some pulse rifles that I have really, really enjoyed in PvE, and I absolutely adore the Bad Juju in PvE activities. But as far as Crucible goes, for me it's going to be, you know, hand cannons pretty much for life as far as primary weapons are concerned. But now actually looking at the Bad Juju with more than just it being a pulse rifle as the main topic, with it giving you super. Now generally in a Crucible match, when I'm using, you know, my absolute favorite loadout, my Austringer, my Aaron Till, and then whatever heavy weapon I feel like using, usually I can get 3 supers by the end of a match. Usually the third super I'm getting in the final, like, you know, 2 minutes of a match. Sometimes right as a match is ending. Kind of depends on how, you know, how quickly it ends, if we mercy the enemy team, that sort of thing. But with the Bad Juju, I'm not as confident. You know, I don't do as well as if I was using my Austringer, just because I'm not as practiced with it. I'm pretty sure that I could get, you know, around the same skill level with a Bad Juju or pulse rifles in general in Crucible if I invested the time, but I'd rather use weapons that I enjoy using, so that's that. But what I will say about getting super energy from Bad Juju kills, even assists, it feels like. The super bar seems to refill a little bit more than usual off of assists as well, which is nice. I still do end up getting, you know, sometimes even 3 supers still. Most of the time 2, and then if I pick up some orbs along the way, I'll get 3. So it's a very, very good weapon as far as that goes, and I suspect that on console, Bad Juju is going to be everywhere. Because like I mentioned earlier, when I was using a controller, testing out the Bad Juju to kind of go down that nostalgic lane from back in my Destiny 1 days, the Bad Juju felt exactly like it felt in Destiny 1. Just a very reliable, extremely stable, full auto pulse rifle. Very, very little effort goes into getting headshots with this thing. It just sticks to target so, so well. So on console, if you are a controller user on PC, you will fall in love with a Bad Juju, but beware of people using max range hand cannons or other things that might outrange it, like other pulse rifles like the blast furnace, to go figure, things like that, because they will outrange the Bad Juju quite easily. But that is going to be it for this video. There's still a few minutes left in this Crucible match, so I'll let it go on. But if you like the video, you want to see more of my content, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new, and hit the like button to show your support. Also, again, reminder for that 2-minute guide, it's actually a 1:53-second guide to getting your hands on Bad Juju. Even if you already have it, I'd say it's pretty funny. For a 2-minute little guide on how to get an exotic weapon that actually does, it actually is a guide, I managed to throw some comedic polish on there, so give it a view for me. Tell me what you think. But that is going to be it. So if you, again, like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Blah-de-blah, all that standard YouTuber stuff. Rip for that guy trying to shoulder charge me. But don't forget to have a good day, everybody. And I will catch you all next time.
Wage war like a true titan. Zone B lost. Three minutes remaining. You captured Zone A. You have advantage. Zone C lost. You're defeated. Fight again. Persistence is key. The zones are your life, Guardian. Keep fighting. You'll get it.